Qumode was not a big town, but it had a big mouth. Stories traveled there faster than motorcycles, faster even than the harmattan wind. The market sat in the middle of everything, a noisy, sweating heart where traders, bus conductors, and schoolchildren passed each other like blood in veins. Life in Qumode followed the rhythm of the market. Morning, shouts of women selling akra. Noon, the choking perfume of fried fish and pepper soup. Evening, the shuffle of tired feet and counting of the day's earnings. But there was one corner of the market people rarely went to after dark, the far northern edge, where a massive old mango tree grew right on the boundary. Its roots were thick as goats, its branches heavy with green leaves. Children climbed it in daylight, chasing the sweet fruits. At night, though, it stood alone, silent, as if guarding something. One hot Tuesday, Adama returned to Qumode after 12 years in the city. She came back not because she wanted to, but because the city had spat her out, job gone, savings stolen by a cheating boyfriend, rent unpaid. She stepped off the bus carrying nothing but a brown suitcase and the stubbornness she'd always been known for. Her aunt, Mama Fatty, welcomed her with a hug that smelled of shea butter and smoke. "You've grown sharper in the face, but softer in the eyes," Mama Fatty said. Adama planned to start fresh, maybe sell clothes in the market. But she needed a stall, and stalls in Qumode's market were harder to get than a politician's promise. Every space was owned, inherited, or fought for. Then someone told her, "There's one empty stall, but it's beside the mango tree. Nobody lasts there." Adama took it. She wasn't afraid of trees or market gossip. Her stall was small but neat, just a wooden table and a corrugated iron roof that let in thin spears of sunlight. She started selling women's wrappers and headscarves, smiling big to customers and refusing to bargain too much. The first week went well. The second week, she began to notice things. In the afternoon, when the sun tilted low, shadows from the mango tree would stretch across her stall. Sometimes she'd hear footsteps behind her, but when she turned, the path was empty. Sometimes a breeze would shake the tree and drop a mango right in front of her, perfectly ripe, almost as if placed. She ignored it. Qumode people liked to talk, she wouldn't give them reason to add her to the list of market stories. On a Thursday, a stranger stopped at her stall. He was tall, wearing a blue cap pulled low over his face, and his voice was smooth like palm wine when it's just beginning to ferment. "How much for this wrapper?" he asked, pointing. 30,000, Adama said, not looking up too long. He smiled slightly. "I'll give you 40 if you can answer my question." Adama raised an eyebrow. "What question?" He leaned closer. "What lies under the roots of the mango tree?" Her laugh was short. "You're wasting your 40,000. I sell cloth, not riddles." The man in the blue cap didn't argue. He paid the full price, took the wrapper, and left. But as he walked away, Adama saw something strange. He didn't pass through the market's busy crowd, people seemed to move aside for him, as though they didn't see him at all. The very next day, one of the market boys vanished. His name was Bello, a cheeky 12-year-old who carried loads for customers in exchange for coins. People said they'd last seen him running toward the mango tree to collect a fruit that had fallen. His basket was found leaning against the trunk. The market buzzed with fear and speculation. "It's the tree, I've said it for years." "Nonsense. Maybe he ran away to the city." "But why leave his basket?" Adama said nothing, but that night she dreamed of the man in the blue cap, standing by her stall, asking again, "What lies under the roots of the mango tree?" When Adama told Mama Fatty about the dream, the old woman's face tightened. "That tree is older than Qumode," Mama Fatty said quietly. "When my grandmother was young, it was already grown. People say the first chief of this land buried something there, something valuable, but also dangerous." "What kind of valuable?" Adama asked. Mama Fatty shook her head. "Enough to make good men greedy and bad men worse." "Forget it," Adama. Sell your cloth and leave that tree alone. But Adama's curiosity had already taken root. The next week, late at night after the market emptied, Adama took a small torchlight and a shovel she'd borrowed from Mama Fatty's backyard. She went to the mango tree, the air thick with the scent of its leaves. She dug near the roots, the red earth soft but heavy. After only a few minutes, her shovel hit something hard. Heart racing, she brushed away the dirt. It was a box. Wooden, old, with brass corners. She touched it. And felt a vibration, faint but steady, like the purr of a sleeping animal. Before she could open it, footsteps sounded behind her. She turned. The man in the blue cap stood there. "You found it," he said simply. "Now you must choose." Adama swallowed. "Choose what?" He pointed to the box. "If you open it, your life will change. You will have wealth, yes, more than you can count. But you will also carry its weight. And if you refuse, I will take it, and your life will stay as it is." Adama stared at him. "Why me?" "Because the tree chooses who can touch it," he said. "And it has chosen you." Her hands tightened on the box. She thought of the city and the betrayal that had brought her home. She thought of Mama Fatty, still selling smoked fish after 40 years. She thought of Bello, the boy who had vanished. "What's inside?" she asked. The man in the blue cap's smile was slow. "The answer to that depends on the kind of person you are." Adama opened the box. Inside was gold, but not just coins. There were necklaces, rings, and armlets carved with symbols she didn't know. The gold glowed faintly in the torchlight, as if it had its own small sun trapped within. She gasped. This is enough to buy the market, the town, and maybe the next town," he finished for her. "But it is not just gold. It is the gold of Qumod's first chief, taken from the people as tribute, hidden here before his death. Whoever holds it owes a debt." "What kind of debt?" she whispered. The man in the blue cap didn't answer. Instead, he stepped back into the shadows and was gone. The next morning, Bello was back in the market, dirty, barefoot, but alive. He claimed he'd gotten lost chasing the mango and found himself somewhere different, though he couldn't explain what he meant. People hugged him, fed him, and told him never to go near that tree again. Adama noticed he didn't meet her eyes once. She tried to sell some of the gold quietly, starting with a small ring. But news in Qumod spread like pepper in soup. Within days, people whispered that Adama was suddenly lucky, that she'd come into money. Men she hadn't spoken to in years appeared at her stall, smiling too widely. Traders invited her to invest in their businesses. A cousin from the city called, hinting he needed a loan. The more she sold, the heavier she felt. Not physically, though she hid the box under her bed, but in her chest, like she was carrying a sack of wet sand everywhere. One night, she dreamed of the mango tree again. This time, its branches were heavy not with fruit, but with faces, the faces of people from Qumod, their mouths open as if calling to her. At the base of the tree stood the man in the blue cap. "Debt," he said simply. "The chief took from them. You must give back." The next market day, Adama did something no one expected. She closed her stall early, carried the gold to the center of the market, and stood on a wooden crate. This gold, she shouted, was buried by Qumod's first chief. It was stolen from our ancestors. I cannot keep it. We will use it to rebuild our school, fix the roads, and help our traders. The crowd roared, half in agreement, half in shock. Some cursed her for not keeping it. Others praised her. But when she began handing the gold to the market elders for safekeeping, even the greedy fell silent. That night, as she walked past the mango tree, she saw the man in the blue cap leaning against its trunk. "You chose well," he said. "What happens now?" she asked. He smiled. The tree will sleep again. Until it chooses another. She turned to ask him more, but he was already gone. Months later, Kyomode had new school roofs, smooth roads, and a market that shone with fresh paint. People still told the story of Adama and the gold, but like all stories in Kyomode, it grew with each telling. Adama kept her stall, still beside the mango tree. She sold more cloth than ever, not because of greed, but because people trusted her now. Sometimes a mango would drop at her feet, and she'd smile, wondering if the tree was saying hello. And if you ever go to Kyomode, they might take you to the market's edge and show you that tree. They'll tell you it's just a tree. But if you look closely at its roots, you might notice the ground there is softer, like something waits beneath. And if you do, you might wonder what kind of person you are. Moral of the story. Gold is sweet, but a clean name is sweeter. Wealth that serves only you will vanish, but wealth that serves your people will last beyond your lifetime.